Hello everyone, how's it going? Dr. Incompetent here, and let's play some Super Fantasy Kingdom. And we're going to do a guide for complete beginners. So for this guide, we're going to start up a brand new profile with no achievements starting at the very beginning, just like you would if you were booting up the game. So you can play along, watch along, and learn how to play the game. I'm going to explain the controls, the UI, some tips and tricks, how to survive, and some build order stuff to kind of help you get into the game, because they have a tutorial that's already embedded that you need to do on any new account, and we're going to go along with that, but I'm going to add to those explanations with some things that weren't quite clear. This game's getting updated a lot now that it's in early access, so things are kind of in flux, but so far I've been able to play this game a ton, play it on stream, learn from some guides I've read online, and then also from a lot of people who came into stream, and my own experience of winning and losing, just kind of what it takes to push and build up so that you can earn those shards and develop your kingdom. Sound good? Let's go ahead and start right now. So when you begin a brand new account, you start here in the throne room, and it's going to say select your hero. Now, this is kind of a look at the in-between run meta progression, and there's an armory over here that has some weapons that we can equip, and currently we don't have anything but the sword and the shield unlocked. There is also an area to get achievements, and you could see our level, and we will get these different currencies, and some of them will persist throughout the runs, and we can use in this campaign, and also when we get far enough, we unlock the Undead campaign, where we can earn rewards that kind of carry over. But to start out, we begin with nothing, and we can be Rickard. This is the only character that we have. He is a defensive knight, perfect for beginners. He's easy to use, and also you'll notice right here there are several slots where we could equip equipment like we saw in the armory, but we don't have any slots unlocked because we haven't upgraded our account enough to do that. So you just have nothing and you click play.
How can this be?
How could everything just vanish? Welcome to Super Fantasy Kingdom. The first step in every run is to place the tavern. If you want to read this again, press T. Select any big building spot. Got it. Okay, so before we do anything, let's just talk about the screen, what we see, and explain the UI. So, as it mentions, you could push T, you see in the bottom left, to get the tutorial tip again. And let's read the UI from top left over. So in the top left, you'll see your crowns, which is like the currency you use to level up your kingdom. The blue shards you can use to unlock heroes, to repair shrines, and make purchases within the run. The X are banishes, which you can use to like restart the day or sometimes eliminate choices from a pool. Then moving to the right, you're going to see the taxes bar, and it's either coins or crosses faith. So you can press K to have your king collecting coins or faith as currency. And at the beginning, we want to just focus on coins, and we'll talk about that as it becomes important. Now, before we move further to the right, let's just go down below before we go further right to the character portrait, and you could see I have 11 health, 13 shield, and 0 experience, and if I mouse over this, I need 100 experience to get to level 2. Now, I'm doing physical damage with Rickard here of 5. I'm level 1, the yellow number, and I have not upgraded the hero at all. I'm 0 out of 3 stars. You can click on this to open up a more expansive window that shows you information about your hero. So it says this is your active ability. We ride to the target and we attack them until they're defeated, and this is the range of the ability, and this is the AI, so it's going to focus on the nearest enemy towards our town. And you can mouse over these different stats to see what they do. So it's our attack power, it's our health, and our shield, which does regenerate slowly. Damage is going to usually go to the shield first before it goes to health, If Rickard dies, you lose the run. So that is important to note. Our crit percent, armor reduces damage from physical attacks, and this is our magical defense. So if we're fighting physical enemies, which we're going to get to choose, and you'll see in a moment, then our armor does well against them, but we don't have much magic resistance. However, our physical damage here is going to actually do more damage to magic enemies. So even though we don't have any mitigation to magic, it's often better for us, depending on how many minions we have on our side, to take magic because we can kill them quickly. These are the pieces of equipment that we have equipped. We have 0, and to upgrade the hero and enhance the abilities, we need 20 faith. But I don't even know if they let you do that at this stage of the tutorial. Now, it tells you that we're part of the human kingdom, and you can mouse over these other tabs too. You see we're melee class, the kind of flexing bicep. Our movement is on cavalry, our role is tank, and we cannot be placed on towers. These will become more important as we go. Now, moving further right along the UI, you're going to see this is showing us how many idle workers we have that are humans and that are donkeys, which are our carriers. So the humans will work in the different buildings, and if they don't have a job, then they'll carry stuff, and the carriers can only carry resources from buildings back to your castle. Then we've got wheat, wood, boards, stone, gold, and ingots, and you're going to see when I mouse over these resources, I have 4 max, meaning with my castle in this state of disrepair, I can only hold 4 of each of these basic resources, and I need to upgrade the castle to expand how many I can hold. I also have food or meals to feed the heroes and minions in the tavern. Happiness amplifies the damage that you deal and gives your new units experience. I will call, by the way, I have different names for everything. So like sometimes I will call Rickard the champion or the hero, and then I will call the units minions, but it's also, the game calls them units. And then you have beer, which we won't be able to build for a bit. Now, additionally, this is our play area. So this is where we're going to be doing the building in the center, but let's talk about this clock over here on the upper right. So the glory we earn, every 10 enemies we kill, we're going to get glory, and that's going to help us unlock new roads within the map that we'll see in a moment. This is the day, and you can push C to see the calendar, and it kind of shows you what events will happen. So we're on day 1. Day 2, we're going to be visited by the Hermit, for example, and this will populate as we know more about the game. Push escape to close that. The game is paused, so this is a real-time game, and you can push spacebar at any time to pause it, and you can push F to cycle through the different speeds, which we'll do in a moment. Then you can push R to kind of like, actually I can't do it right now, but you can hide the buildings with that, and we can't place a flag. We can zoom in on the game using these buttons or with the mouse wheel. And now what they want us to do is to build the tavern. So we need to click one of these bigger spots on the map to build. You'll see we have 3 small spots and 3 big spots. And when you click on one, so I'm going to click right here is fine. And it says place the tavern here. And you just say, okay, and you instantly build it. And now we have a tavern. And now they're saying resources can only be used after they've been taken to the castle. Food is stored in the tavern instead. Now you need wood. Build the lumberyard. Got it. So the game is still paused. And if we collect food, like berry from these bushes, then it will go into the tavern to feed the units. The hero or the champion does not eat, but the units eat to gain experience at the end of each day. Now you can hold Alt at any time to highlight things on the map. You'll see that interactables are highlighted in white, and then also it will display this little window above buildings that can take workers with how many workers it can take and how many workers are actually working in that facility. So there's nobody working in the tavern, but we could put as many as 4 people in there. It also blows up our meals to show the different types of food that there are. And then in the bottom left, you're going to see it just shows us it's morning, the workers are going to wake up, it's a sunny day weather-wise, and how many taxes we are collecting. So I'm going to build the lumberyard. Now, it's not a huge deal at first, but it becomes more important to think about actually where you want to build some of these structures. So if I click right here, I can build basic buildings that fit the big slot. Or if I click over here, I could build small buildings for this little plot. And we want to build the lumberyard. It's actually free. It's the only thing we can build right now, starting out. And you could cycle through these tabs by clicking on the icons at the top or using Q and E to just move through them. And by the way, I'm playing on PC using mouse and keyboard, but the game works beautifully on Steam Deck with the controls. But I'm just explaining it in mouse and keyboard. And when you build a lumberyard, you might want to actually look around and they don't highlight with Alt, but if you mouse over, you'll see it's a tree, and it has 4 out of 4 uses, and then it disappears. So resources are limited. Some of them will respawn. Some of them you have to build extra workers to help them respawn. So when you're putting in your lumberyard, if I put it down here, for example, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 trees on the bottom half of this map. And I see 1, 2, 3 up here, and maybe a couple over here. So actually, this is a good spot for it, because the workers will take less time to travel from cutting down the tree to putting the wood away, and they might be able to gather more wood in the day. So you kind of want to think about proximity when you're putting down your buildings. So I'm going to go here, and I'm going to build the lumberyard. And it explains that for each building, you decide how many jobs will be available. Workers will choose which job to take themselves. Hover over the lumberyard and use the scroll. So what this means is if you have one worker and then I assign, I'm going to push spacebar to pause it. I'm going to zoom in. If I scroll up the mouse wheel and I put jobs on the tavern and the lumberyard, then our worker is going to actually choose where to go. We don't unlock a way to set priorities until later. So for now, you kind of have to just keep track of how many available workers you have. And then you can tell them not to go there and then say, please go here. And now you could see there's a little hammer where it says 1 out of 1, meaning I have one worker and they're assigned. And if I scroll up, then it's like, well, you've assigned 2 jobs, but you only have 1 worker. So I'm going to leave it like this to assign them to the lumberyard. And if it has ZZZ on top, that means that nobody is working in that building. So you can kind of see at a glance if anybody's working. And also up here, the 0 is showing you that we have 0 idle workers. I'm going to push spacebar and unpause the game. And you're going to see this lady come out. Now, what's she doing? Well, interestingly, she's actually getting berries. And you say, well, why is she getting berries? This is something really important. Even if you unassign someone to work at a place, you notice how when I mouse over this tavern, the human worker icon is highlighted in white, meaning she got the job to go get berries, and that's what she's going to do. And even if you unselect that job, she or he, whoever's working there, will not change jobs until they complete the assignment. So they're going to get that berry, which is, you can click on the tavern, by the way, and you can see that what happens is the gatherer is going to get berries. How do I know that? Because you see here on the screen for deposits, this shows you what is stored within the building. This is very important because it's different than what's here in the top center. This is what's stored in the castle. But sometimes you're like, I thought I had more wood than that or whatever. And the tavern just stores food. But if you're at the lumber mill, it could be storing, I'll click on that. It could store wood, and you're like, wait a minute, I thought I had more wood. It's not showing here. It still needs to be transported with a carrier or an idle worker back to the castle for you to be able to spend it. And so you need to always check the storage internally. But if I go back to the tavern, the deposits is showing what resource deposits are associated with this building. So they're going to pick berry bushes. If you assign somebody to work at the tavern, they're just gathering food for your units to eat at the end of the day. And the only thing they can gather right now are berries from berry bushes. And if there's no berry bushes, they can't even do that job, and the game will tell you that. But right now they're doing it. It's going to take 7 seconds for them to gather this. So I have nobody assigned, but she's still going to go to this bush that has 5 berries and get a berry. You see she's carrying it. And she's going to do her best to walk over and deliver it. And you hear the clock ticking, and that is because the day is progressing. And when the day moves in different phases, the enemies start attacking. So this is, if you're wondering what kind of a game this is, it's hard to describe, but it is a roguelite game. You do start over in some elements when a run ends, but you build up a meta progression system that carries over, that helps you be stronger each time. So it's very normal that you'll just die on your first run because your account isn't strong enough to get further and you don't know enough about the game. But it's a roguelite, so you get to wash, rinse, and repeat and see if you can do better and unlock more and more. And it combines like a tower defense auto battler on the top of the screen, which I'll show you as we look at combat, and then a city management building game on the bottom in real time. The morning is over, and monsters will start to attack your village. Your units will attack once targets are in range. The monsters will attack when they reach a unit. The only unit you have now is your hero. When your hero dies, you lose. All right, I'm going to pause it, and I'm going to show you. Here is our hero, protecting the bridge to our city. If you mouse over Rickard, it will show you on the tooltip his power, 5, and also that white circle is his range. So if the enemies come within that, he will attack. And you can see the enemies are going to come generally from up here through the trees, sometimes over here on the right and over here, and they'll all converge on this bottom point. Let's see if we can find any enemies so far. Yes, over here. You see there's an enemy coming, and they're just going to walk over here and fight us. Now, you can just let the game run, and okay, I've collected 1 berry. So the berry is done, it's collected, and now they're telling us about inspection mode, which I've already explained, which is you can hold Alt to show more UI data, highlight interactable objects, and show you how many jobs are assigned. So now you have to wait for the worker to chop trees, and to speed things up, you need more workers. Build a house on a small building spot. This is the next quest. So we need to actually use inspection mode to progress through the tutorial, so make sure you push Alt to do that. And you see right here, the king is like got this coin over his head. He's walking around collecting taxes, and periodically he will do that throughout the day. And you can increase the rate that happens by clicking on the castle. If you build it up, it will double the storage space and allow us to gather taxes faster, which is good, more money. And now the worker is going to go down, and you see they kind of change their outfit based on their job. So the worker is in like lumberjack outfit instead of like tavern, wench outfit or whatever. And now you see him chopping down the tree. If I click on this, you could see that right now we have 1 woodcutter right here. We can use these arrows to toggle it. There's 15 trees that are available on the map right now. I have 0 stored, and it takes 8 seconds to get this. And I can upgrade and add a forester to replant trees for 5 stone, which I don't have, but we do want eventually. Now up here, you'll notice that as the enemies get closer, we're going to fight. Now, I'm going to scroll back down. You can see that the lumberjack is carrying the wood here. And as soon as that gets to this building, you're going to see the donkey kind of like come out and go here and try to collect. So the more carriers we have, the more efficient we will be, because we're going to be able to use our resources faster, and they're not going to get clogged up, and they're not going to congest our buildings, because they do have a maximum. You can see if I mouse over this can only hold 6. And even if I have workers assigned, if it's filled, they won't be able to bring any wood back. They won't be able to work until it gets emptied. So now I have 3 wood, and you could see, watch my hero just jump out and attack. I can zoom in on this. So he's going to just ride out. And it's kind of interesting, but basically there's the hero down here, but then a projection or something comes out and does the actual fighting away from this. you can always see on the screen your character's shield, health, so you could see how they're doing here, and then also in the upper left. And our character is destroying this. Like, Rickard is just ripping through these enemies, taking no damage, and earning experience. Now, it's a new time. You see in the bottom right, it'll give you kind of notifications. It's nighttime. Now, another thing that has happened is I was paying attention up there. You'll notice I've collected 4 wood, which is good, but I can't collect any more. So this is because I have a 4 wood maximum. So we immediately need to click and build a house. I'm going to build a house right here. Now that we've built a house, we want to build a quarry. You start with 1 worker and 1 mule, or donkey. Each house grants you 1 additional worker. By the way, mules are different than donkeys. I just call them donkeys because I like donkeys better. Mules can only carry resources. If a worker cannot find a job, he will help carrying instead. After wood, you'll need stone. Build a quarry on a big building spot. Okay, so to build a quarry, you see I need 3 logs. So I used all my logs to build the house. It built instantly, but look right here. Now I have 2 workers. However, you see how the number is orange right here? That's because it's late in the day. And after the sun goes down, the workers are done. They're going to go to sleep. They're not going to work anymore. That being said, you can line them up for a job. So right now, 1 person is already working here, and I'm actually going to have both of my workers at the Lumberyard because we need 3 to build a quarry. I collected this coin in taxation. You see it fly up here. We have 2 coins now. One thing that's always a good idea to do is to zoom out and just hold Alt and kind of look around the map and see if there's any resources to gather or anything to do. Now, we're early, so there isn't right now. The enemies are going to intensify at nighttime. It says moonrise, the monsters become angry, so here they come. Now, you could push F to speed up the game. I'm going to go to full speed because we're going to destroy these enemies. And we did. That's the end of the day. You hear the triumphant music, and it says, victory, all enemies defeated. This is how much experience we got. We're getting our way up to level 2. And when you see the exclamation point on the tavern, at any point, you could simply click on this to end the day. So day 1, we get a rating, which is like how well you did, and they're telling us we barely made it, which is kind of an over-exaggeration. We did fine. We earned 1 glory per every 10 kills, so we got 1. And it gives you a DPS breakdown of like who did the most damage during the day. Obviously, Rickard did it all, so he did 100%. But it kind of is a great way to tell which heroes on your damage side are helpful. Now, there's all sorts of, not heroes, but units, rather, that you can collect that are like support or more tanky, defensive, and they might not do a lot of damage, but they're important to the team. Now, here's a super important bit. This game, if you want to quit, you need to quit at the end of the day. So push escape, and if the button is green and says exit, you can actually exit from the end of the day in the tavern and then close the game and boot it back up and resume from this moment. If you try to exit during the day, it will tell you something like forfeit or run away or flee or something. I can't remember the exact word. I'll look at it in a moment. But it means that like it's give up, I think. And so that terrified me when I first saw it. And it's one of those things where, kind of like Stardew Valley, you got to wait until the end of the day to quit if you want to save and quit. So just a heads up on that. Now, I don't want to quit. I'm going to resume, but I just want to explain that. Now, you click right-click to continue, and day 2. Question mark says, my friend. And who are you, friend? Just a forgotten old man. I come with help. Here, take one of these. For free? So he's going to give us a unit, and we get to choose any of these. So take whichever one you like. Don't click on the card, though, if you want more information about them. Click on this little scroll above them to get details. So this will give you, like, the full list of what this unit does, its active abilities, and its passive abilities. We haven't unlocked any passives. We haven't evolved this to level it up, or, not evolved, leveled it up at all. And these are the stats and the information about it. So this is a magic class. It's an infantry unit. Its role is damage. And you could take any of these. My opinion is that I like the Rune Scribe a lot. So let's look at the card. The bottom left is the health or mana of the unit. Magic units have mana instead of health, but that is their health. They actually use their mana to use their spells, and they cannot use their attack or use their spell again until the mana is full and it regenerates over time. So if they're getting hit, it's really, really bad. So you got to try to protect them, but they do a ton of damage. They're incredibly good. And then the Cyclops, for example, has 7 health, and he does this. He throws a rock for 7 damage, and then the Archer does normal damage, and the Rune Scribe does electric damage. And the different damage types have different synergies that trigger with artifacts, abilities, passives, etc. So I think all of these are good. I'm going to take the Rune Scribe. I really like the Rune Scribe, but the Cyclops is great. And so I'm going to pick a Rune Scribe. And it says units can be placed into a slot now. Inside your city is the bench. Units cannot attack from the bench. They must be first placed onto the battlefield. Place the unit on one of the empty spaces next to your knight. Got it. So this threw me off at first, but these squares down here are the bench. And you could put a unit that you acquire here for free. You don't have to pay for it. And it can actually earn experience in the tavern at the end of the day by eating if you have food for them. However, they can't attack unless it's a siege unit or something, and it specifically says it can attack from the bench. I kind of thought my Rune Scribe, because its range was so big, could just fire across the river. It cannot. You have to put it out here. Now, you'll notice that these squares have different prices. So I can unlock this square for 1 coin, and then for the rest of the map, I can put somebody here. It's unlocked, and I could switch units around. And then the next one costs 2, and then 4, and then there's more, and they just get more expensive. So I'm going to buy the cheapest one, which is to the left of our hero, and unlock it, and then our Rune Scribe is going to go there and start attacking. Most units gain experience when eating in the tavern. They do not like to sleep on an empty stomach. Assign jobs to the tavern to get some basic food. All right, I got it. So I'm going to pause the game, and let's talk about what's going on. Right now, I have a food already, so I could assign a job to the tavern to get 1 food, but I don't actually need 1 food right now. I'll need 1 food not on day 2, but on day 3. So I have some time to earn that food, and I kind of want to focus on making sure I build the quarry, because what I really want to do next is upgrade our castle. But we're going to follow what the tutorial tells us to do, because that's how you begin the game. Once you do the tutorial once, you never have to do it again. You get to make more decisions about what happens. Now, you'll notice that as I'm moving around, and this is what you always want to do at the beginning of each day, hold Alt and look for arrows. You see how there's a white arrow here and a yellow arrow here? These are indicating that there is something new that I can do on the map, and something I can either collect or unlock. So first is this white arrow, and if you mouse over it, you see how it has a trophy or a glory icon. This allows me, if I click on this, to build a road. So I'm going to say, okay, and it's going to build a road over here. And now we have built a road to this structure, which allows us to hire swordsmen for 4 stone. The first swordsman costs 4 stone, then each swordsman after that costs more. So I can get a swordsman if I want at any time if I have the stone. But remember, you're going to need to be able to have enough gold or coins so that you can unlock a square to put them on the fighting side. There's also right here a shrine that we can repair with a shard that permanently upgrades our runs, so that we start with this one. Just gives us 1 more wood when we begin a new run, which is great. There's also this guy over here. Click on him, and this is the Death Priest, and you can help him by completing the following task, which is to die. So if you lose a run, which is going to happen because we're not going to be able to beat it on our first try, we'll unlock this unit, which we can get And it says achievements. While exploring the world, you'll encounter many different new units. They all have special quests for you. After solving it, they'll appear during your runs in both kingdoms, so the human and the undead, and we need to find and help all 51. The Death Priest is a fantastic unit. If you get its passive upgrade, it can put a bubble shield to protect your units. It's great. And so, you know, that's something that happens, which means if we die, we unlock this, and then when we're offered units, it goes into the pool of potential units that we can find. So we built this road. When you build roads, the game is going to tell us later, but these are permanent. So I will always have this road built. When you use glory, you are not spending your glory. It's just a threshold. And once you have enough, you can unlock certain things and by clicking on it. Now over here, there is this yellow arrow, which is telling me that there is a world event here. There are special locations in the world where random events can happen. They're marked with a red X, and they grant free resources or relics, visitors, or sometimes there's a monster blocking the spot that you have to provoke to attack. For best results, ensure you clear these sites regularly. The chance for events increases when more of them are empty. So it's going to give us, you can see right here, we're going to get a wheat just by clicking on that, and it goes up, floats up there. Our carrier doesn't have to get it, it just goes up there. So always look around to see if there is a resource for you to get, or if your glory has unlocked a road outside your kingdom or inside your kingdom. Well, I don't want to say it like that. It's all your kingdom, but let's just say inside your base, which would be yellow arrows, and outside, which are white arrows. All right. And if you clear these, then like they said, that another one could pop in its place. So I'm going to push spacebar to unpause the game. And you see, I'm going to zoom in. We're getting wood. I'm going to actually speed it up. And we're getting wood. We're putting it here. And now the carrier is coming. And you can click on this and you'll see 0 storage. I'll unpause it. And then now there's 1 here. And then 1 wood here. And then it goes actually to 2 because he hadn't dropped it off yet. So we're almost to the point where we can build the quarry. So here come the bad guys. Immediately, once you get 3 wood, let's build a quarry. Now, there's rocks all down here. So building a quarry by closer to the rocks would be great, but we don't have a spot to do that. So the only place in the tutorial that they let us build the quarry is here. So let's build it. Actually, though, I will tell you that I prefer this location for the quarry because of roads, and I'll explain it in a moment. So build roads to reclaim your kingdom and explore the world. Roads you build are permanent, so you'll unlock more options with time. Press the button in the upper right corner to enter the road building mode, then select the arrow pointing where you want to explore. Build a road. Got it. So we actually already built the road, but now they're giving us another road that we can build later. So if you push R for road building mode, I said earlier that it hides the buildings. It does, but it also shows you potential roads that you can build. If the arrows are grayed out, that means we don't have enough glory. So by clicking on that road, I kind of messed up the pacing of the tutorial a bit. So maybe it's best to not click on that. I just got all excited and wait to progress. But all we need are 3 glory, so just 20 more enemies and we'll get that. And you could see all of these internal yellow arrows, and these are great because they're going to give us more plots so we can build more structures. I'm just going to push R or click on this road building mode button to hide that. And now let's watch our fighting. If you mouse over the RuneScribe, look how big his area is. This dude is going to start zapping things and just blow things away. Now you'll watch the blue bar on the RuneScribe. Now that you have units, look in the bottom center. Your units cards actually appear here. So you could see that this guy has 23 mana, and then he shoots and he uses some mana, and he can't shoot again until it fills back up. And then, so he's using 5 mana per shot, it looks like, and he's firing and firing and firing, but we're killing a bajillion enemies. And we have 3 wood again. And how much is in here? There's 0 in there. There's 1 being carried here. Now the workers are going home. The next thing that we're going to want to do is repair the castle. So I'm actually going to take both of these workers off. But you see how they're still highlighted in white? That means they're still finishing that job. And I'm going to put them on this job. And then once they're done with the job, you can see how the white outline disappears. So this guy's going to bring back some more wood. And then it's done. Excellent. and we're fighting, but the combination of these two heroes early in the game is far too much for the enemies. We have won. Enter the tavern. So now that we have a unit, this screen will be different. So it's day 2. It's going to tell us that we killed 16 enemies. We got 1 glory and 2 total. So now we're going to be able to build the road. Look at the rune scribe. This is what I'm saying. The rune scribe, who we just got, is doing 56% of our damage because he's a DPS unit. So he's really helpful. And then now you actually are going to right-click, and it goes to this screen where your units will enter the tavern in a random order, and then they'll come, and whichever unit comes in first will take the best food, and so on. You can't control that, but if you have food that would give more experience, the rune scribe would take it. All we have are these berries. You can see the available food in the upper right. And this chart right here tells you how much experience you get for each food. So berries are the worst. They only give your units 1 experience. Right-click, they will sit down. You can see what food the rune scribe has. He's going to eat, and then it goes to sleeping screen. So he's kind of unhappy because berries are not great. They don't like it, but they'll eat it. And he needs 3 experience total to level up. So 3 days of eating berries, and he's there. All right, day 3. Now I'm going to pause the game. And remember, our units are going to start gathering stone. There's 2 on here. By the way, there is some rock right here that they'll go to first, which is great. And you can see our units right there with pickaxes. They're ready to go. I can build a road here. And they want us to repair the castle. It says the castle can only store a limited amount of resources. To increase its storage capacity, you need to repair it. Repair the castle. Got it. Now, let me explain another reason why repairing the castle is great. So yeah, it lets us store more, which is good. And it increases our taxation rate, which is good. But the real thing is, you notice how if I click here, if I want to build another house to get another worker, which we do, it takes 8 wood. But I can't even get 8 wood because my castle can't hold it. So I can't recruit more workers until I first upgrade the castle. So you're going to see there's a lot of structures. If their limit is, higher than what you could store, you've got to upgrade your stuff to make that happen. So we do need food. Notice how there's an exclamation point and the food is in red, and it's telling you I don't have enough food. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to scroll up 1 on the tavern and scroll down 1 on the quarry. The person getting the stone will still finish getting the stone, but we'll make sure that we have enough food. Also, oh, I'm sorry, I misread the previous screen. The previous screen was not that we got 2 glory that night, it was that we had 2 total. So the only road we could build was internal, but that was enough to progress the tutorial. And now we want to repair the castle, so we need 3 stone. But let me just make sure they're going to get 2 stone, and then this guy will go back out and get the 3rd stone. But I want to make sure, you see that this worker has changed into somebody who works at the tavern. I got to make sure I have the food. So they're going to just immediately go to the bush to get the berry, to deliver it. Now, if you get really good at the game, this is where the management comes in. You start to say, okay, well, there's none stored. He's going to deliver 1. And now I have almost 2. Once this person delivers the berry, that's actually all the food that I need. I can't hire a swordsman yet until I have 4 stone, and I want the stone to upgrade the castle. But I don't really need that many berries. Yet. Now, truthfully, when we start playing runs for real outside the tutorial, we are going to want a bunch of berries because we want to, if I click on this, we want to start building fisher huts as soon as we can. Because fisher huts will allow us to collect a fish instead of a berry, and a fish gives us 2 experience and levels up our units faster, which helps us defend our base longer. But right now, we're just going to collect this berry. And you can see she's going to walk all the way through, use the road, and deliver that to the tavern. Now, the question is, do I want her to get another berry, or do I want to click her off of that to do a different job? And I think that's a really good question to ask. Now, notice how I only have I have 4 wood here. I can't store more, but actually I have a wood that's still stored in the lumberyard. So even if you can't store it, you can plan for later, and I'm going to do that. I'm going to scroll down on this and scroll up on this so that I could start getting enough wood to build a house instantly. Now, once this guy delivers the stone, do I want him to keep doing stone? Probably not. I'm actually going to turn that off and then put him over here. So we'll get the 3rd stone. You can see we're fighting up here, and we're not having any problems. And the mule or donkey is delivering that, and then boom, 3. Once we get 3, I'm going to click on this, and we can repair the castle. And now it says find a unit. To survive, you need more units. Some reside in this kingdom. You just need to find their dwelling. Reclaim parts of your kingdom until you find a unit and recruit them. So that's what they want us to do. There's a unit over here once we build a road, but the swordsperson is easiest one to get, and the swordsman is really nice. So we're going to get that, but first, I'm actually going to try and get enough stone. You see now that I can actually have more stone, or I'm sorry, wood. I want 8 wood to build another house. I'm going to speed up the game. I can store it now, so the mule is going to actually begin delivering it. Deep. And here we go. And I could see at the end of the day, even the mule is not going to work after hours there. I have 2 in storage, and I have 2, so I have exactly 8, which is what I want. So I'm going to turn them off and put them on the job of getting stone so I could progress the tutorial. Now, that might not be what I would actually do if I were playing a normal run, but it's what I'm doing here because I want to complete the tutorial. So you see, I'm starting to take damage. So they're explaining how it's getting tough. My guy he got hit right here. So Rickard took some damage. You see how the shield is down? So, we're surviving, but it's getting dangerous. So we do want that unit a bit, or some food. So they're going to come in. The day is over. Just enter the tavern. You could click the tavern or click the banner at the bottom that says enter. And excellent. So, it's saying heroic sacrifices because we took some damage. It'll give you a better rating if you take no damage, if you just wreck the opponents. Now, generally, that's what you want to do, but there is a trade-off because the more units that you get, the more you're going to have to feed them, which means you're going to have to put workers on the tavern or have some other food engine going, which is going to disrupt your ability to build structures that will upgrade, like the quarry or upgrading your castle or doing other things and gathering resources. So it's a balancing act, but usually you want enough units to survive. So this is going to be a complete beginner's guide series. We just completed the first 3 days, but there's so much more to learn about this game as we beat the tutorial, as we unlock meta progression, and as we start new runs with more options. The further you play this game, honestly, the more it becomes interesting. You get more choices to make. At first, you're kind of on rails. As you go, it's going to be wild how fine-tuned you can make your build order, and you learn what you like to prioritize, and you're going to have a wealth of opportunity. So we're going to talk about that by going further and further in this series. So I want to say thank you, everyone, so much for watching. If you have any questions, please put those in the comments below. And if you are a Super Fantasy Kingdom veteran and you'd like to share some tips to help new players along in the comments below, I would appreciate that so much. Also, we're going to continue with this on day 4 and just keep going. So I hope to see you in the next episode to learn more about Super Fantasy Kingdom. I'll put a link in the description below to the Let's Play of this series, as well as the Steam page, so you can check it out. Thanks for watching, everyone. Take care.